Am I the a-hole for kicking my mother-in-law out of my house because she pulled my wife's hair? I'm 29 male. My wife is 22 female. She has been no contact with her mother since she was 17. Reason being, she was SA'd by a colleague of her mother when she was 16, and when she told her mother what happened, her mother told her to never speak about this to anyone. The mother kept bringing the colleague over to the house for dinner parties, and my now wife ended up leaving home to live with her grandmother. She has accomplished so much on her own since then. Graduated with a degree last year, and we very recently got married, eloped. Before graduation, she asked me if she should reconcile with her estranged parents. She wanted to connect with her father, but didn't know how to go about it without also having to communicate with her mother to some extent. My wife is an incredibly compassionate person. I wanted to protect her from getting hurt again, but I also didn't want to stand in the way of her making her own choices. She decided to invite her parents to her graduation, introduce me to them, and catch them up cordially on her life. I supported that. I went to go see them with her. It was not smooth, but it opened up communication between my wife and her father, so much so that we invited them to the small reception we threw for friends and family after we were married. This happened very recently. Her mom has been staying with us in my house. The stay was supposed to be 2 weeks, but has now been cut short by me. Things began to fall apart when my mother-in-law argued with my wife about the elopement. She was upset we didn't have a real wedding and kept giving my wife crap for that behind my back. I noticed that in my presence she would switch up very quickly, but as soon as she knew I wasn't around, she would berate my wife, often getting physical, holding her arm roughly, shaking her, etc. My wife shared this with me. I encouraged her to be assertive, and she agreed, saying that she needs to resolve this with her mother on her own. It has to be her. She asked me not to get involved but to pretend to leave the house and then not actually leave. She said she felt safer confronting her mother knowing I was around like a shadow. I overheard their conversation. My wife was calm and neutral, didn't get emotional, kept even-tempered, and was honest and direct. I was feeling so proud of her. She's come a long way, and she's always wanted to be able to have this kind of redemption, I guess, being able to stand up to herself now, for the 16-year-old version of her that couldn't. Her mother, however, blew off the handle. 0 to 100. My wife expressed that the conversation was no longer productive and she was going to walk away. She attempted to leave the room and head toward me. She came around the corner when my mother-in-law, who was behind my wife, grabbed my wife's hair and pulled her back. She was about to slap my wife, but I intervened by then. It takes a lot for me to lose my composure. This was it. I took over from that point onward. To cut this short, mother-in-law was packed up and out of my house real quick. Put her on the next flight. I don't feel any regret for kicking her out, but I don't know if I did the right thing, because I didn't allow my wife any involvement once this happened. A part of me feels like I took away an opportunity for her to overcome her trauma. Eat it. I saw it in the comments, so I just want to add that my wife is not upset by how I handled it. I grew up in the foster system and never had the experience of having parents and family. Sometimes I struggle to relate to my wife when it comes to that, and I just wanted to get a bit of perspective so I can continue to better support her without my own feelings getting in the way.